Happy Advent! We are in the last week of Advent, which is the week that we celebrate God's love. So let me just say this. You are loved. You are a beloved child of God. Let that sink in. Emmanuel, God with us, came to us as a gift of love. The giver became the gift. That's what love does. It gives itself. God with us. God's presence is the present. I think there's something we can learn from that. We can give ourselves as a gift of love to others this season. We can practice love by giving ourselves. Well, how do we do that? How do we love well? First, we need to live knowing we are loved. This is so hard sometimes, and I often fail at this. I forget that I'm loved by God. I get caught up in trying to prove myself, trying to be good enough or nice enough or contribute enough. And then if I mess up, I can get really frustrated and down on myself. Well, something that I've been doing lately that helps me is remembering my baptism. And I know that sounds churchy, but our baptism is not a one-time event. It is an everyday dying and rising that gives us a clean slate. As we remember, we are united with Christ. The old is actually gone, and the new has come. So every morning when I wake up, I wash my face and I splash water on myself and I make the sign of the cross on my forehead and remember that I am a beloved child of God, sealed by the Holy Spirit and marked with the cross of Christ forever. It's not magic. It's just a reminder that I'm loved. It's not even self-affirmation. It's God's affirmation. It's not self-help, it's receiving God's help so that I can live loved. So I encourage you to find a way to remember your baptism. Remember that you are given new life and that you are loved. Secondly, we live our lives by giving this love away. Love shows itself in kindness and compassion and in forgiveness and in faithfulness and in generosity. And love shows itself by showing up. We show up for each other. Just as God is with us, we are to be with each other. So we give each other ourselves. We give each other our attention, our time, our loving words, our presence. And we do this over and over and over again as we are filled up with God's love over and over and over again. Okay, I want to acknowledge that loving others is harder than it seems. Some of you might be thinking, I have given all there is to give of myself. There is nothing left. I'm so sorry. Many of us live with the hard realities of someone we care about, struggling with mental illness, or living with cancer, or wrestling with addiction, or caught up in the ugliness of sin. So how do we love people when it's a daily challenge, when it's exhausting, when we feel guilty for even taking a minute for ourselves, or we just want to get away from it all? I only have one answer. Don't go it alone. We need to rely on God as a source of love, a love that never fails, a well that never runs dry. Love endures. Love never fails. Love always hopes. Well, all of those phrases sound like platitudes if we're not connected to the source. This unfailing kind of love only comes from God. And God's way always draws from relationship and community. So then we need to realize that God gives us to one another. We need to rely on the help and support and sometimes even the expertise of others. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay. Don't go it alone. You are loved. God has given you his love in the Christ child. Hold this love close, but don't hold it tightly. It's meant to be shared. It's meant to be given away. Happy Advent and Merry Christmas.